How will children be protected from accidental consumption under AUMA?
You know, there's a very good section in there as far as child protective packaging. I think that's also one of the rationales for keeping the limits low. But you know, it's overall we're still going to have the same problem. I mean, kids are getting into prescription pills all the time. It's not there's nothing you can really do to stop that other than educate the parents and the children of, hey, you got to keep this stuff away, locked, and safe. And there's no bill that's going to be able to do that. You know, my biggest concern is really around this gap, and I don't want to call them children, but the 18 to 21s who are really going to be most affected by this. In San Jose, where I started the first cannabis club about 7 years ago, we went through a lot of turmoil. We've got a huge industry that developed. And when the city finally passed the regulations, they passed it with a 21-year age limit on medical. And what that did was reduce the dispensaries by about a third of their volume. So a third of the people coming into medical cannabis dispensaries today are in that 18 to 21 range. So they smoke pot. And what we're going to say is, hey, well, now, hey, if you don't go get this magic piece of paper, you've got some stuff you got to deal with. And the third time is a potential felony. So, you know, it's really, I would say it does virtually nothing to actually protect kids, and in fact puts a lot more in danger of interacting with the law that don't need to.
So Prop 64 contains within it the packaging requirements that have been adopted by most of the legal states at this point. You know, child-proof packaging, opaque, advertising doesn't appeal to minors, that kind of stuff. So that's there. The edibles have been limited to the 10 milligrams per THC per serving. The idea of that is if a kid does get into accidentally, then he can, you know, it's not going to be as bad. This does, of course, come down to education, and this is something they found out in Colorado as well. They had to do a public education campaign, start low, go slow, to kind of teach people that edibles work different than smoking. As far as this idea that more kids are going to be in danger, again, right now, under the law, marijuana is illegal for anyone under the age of 18 or over the age of 18. Under the age of 18, the crimes involved can be infractions, misdemeanors, wobblers, or felonies. A wobbler means it can be either or, misdemeanor or felony. All those crimes, by people under the age of 18, the penalty changes to counseling, community service, and drug education. For the college-age people, age 18 to 20, that we're worried about. There's this talking about how there's going to be new crimes. There's going to be crime. We're going to get jail for people who are 18 to 20. Currently, the law right now, Section 11357, paragraph C, every person who possesses more than an ounce of marijuana shall be punished in jail for 6 months, $500 fine. Under Prop 64, anyone over the age of 18 to 20 who possesses over an ounce, 6 months, $500 fine. It's exactly the same. It's a crime now, and it doesn't change for the 18 to 20s. There's no way more of them can get busted. And it actually reduces the penalty for concentrate. People 18 to 20 that have any amount of concentrate are subject to a possible 1 year, $500 fine. Prop 64, up to 4 grams, they get 6 months, $500 fine. So it reduces the penalties. This crazy idea that you reduce penalties, take away probable cause, and retire drug dogs, and then somehow more people get busted, it just blows my mind. I can't believe this. And I might be able to believe it if nobody had ever legalized before, and we were just projecting or guessing. But 4 states have already done this in a manner very similar to what California is proposing. And again, 80% reduction in charges in Colorado, 63% reduction in charges in Washington. I just don't see where this fear is coming from. 215 will continue to exist. It's not for the patients, it's for me. It's for me, the recreational consumer, who currently can be searched, harassed, ticketed, arrested, and imprisoned for possession and cultivation of cannabis. Why do you all want me to keep remaining a criminal? Why do you want to help the cops? I hear people on this other side using the same arguments Kevin Sabet uses against me. Oh, not that many people go to jail for weed. We're not really busting people. They got busted for other things. Well, if it's no big deal, why pass any legalization? Why pass anything if it's no big deal now?
I'm a big believer in projection, you know, being around vets with psychological issues. And I think when people lash out, it's projecting their own issues. So thank you, Mr. Trump over there. And let me tell you what our friend over there, Russ Belville, is doing. He knows he's losing this debate, so he's getting cute. Okay, let's get real here. He's a carpetbagger from Oregon, and he's down here, and he grew up in Idaho, and he's being paid by people like MPP to go around the country and on his radio show, and that's to just regurgitate the same propaganda points, the same political talking points, and he's been doing it. And by the way, I watched your Twitter feed, and I think you had 1 like per Twitter, so I say hi to your mom. She seems to like you. You know, and this is really important. He's confusing the facts. He's confusing the facts here. Let me talk.
Please,
let me finish.
audience.
He's confusing the facts. He said, well, it's not illegal, or it's illegal. He's confusing recreational with medical here, because it's not illegal if you have medical in many cases. And let me just say, in reality, for all those people who want a legal recreational industry, we hear a lot that the medical program in here is a joke, that anyone can get a rec. Yes, they can. Go on the damn computer, and for $20, you can have legalized marijuana and you can smoke it with the affirmative test of 215. We don't need to ask the government for that fucking privilege. Okay, so then, now what we want to tell you, this is the thing. Well, I'm not following it because no one else follows it, so I'm just going back to the thing. Juvenile arrest, he's talking about juvenile arrest, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct in this. He's talking about minority arrest and all the rest. Yes, white kids arrests are down. Black and Latino kids are up percentage-wise and notionally, meaning up, absolutely. Okay, so the reality is he's confusing you and trying to confuse the facts, but that's what he does. Okay, now with regards to kids, it doesn't do anything. The reality is kids are going to get access to cannabis regardless. That's the whole joke of this thing, if you want the honest truth. You can't control this. I have 4 children. They can go within a block of any block they have in their city, and they can buy cannabis. And that will continue afterwards. It's called parenting, people. Be a parent. And the great thing about cannabis, let me tell you the great thing about cannabis. It has its own self-control. You do not die when you take it. It's a learning mechanism. So I'm much more concerned about the Xanax. I'm much more concerned about the Oxycontin. I'm much more concerned about the antidepressants. Don't let them treat our medicine like they're crap, because that's what they want to do.
Well, I think you guys need to stop this stuff of this political and name calling and all of that. It's really uncalled for. We're all fighting for plant freedom. We're all really on the same side fighting for plant freedom. And you guys have to stop that, the name calling and the insults. It's not necessary here. We're having a very good debate. I think we can say we all don't want cannabis part of the DUI thing. We all find pharmaceuticals far scarier and more dangerous to our children. We all want plant freedom. We got people on this side that think this bill is not good enough and we should hold out, and those 8,800 arrests a year are okay for 2 more years when it magically gets fixed. And then we got the people on the yes side who are saying, come on, we got to take whatever step for plant freedom we can take and then continue to activate. I do believe we're all going to be working together at the end of the day, and I just hope everybody will be civil.
I'd like to ask Russ Belville why he thinks that hyper-regulation is a better model than decriminalization. All I've been hearing from Russ, who I actually like, I'm from Oregon, so I'm not going to be up here bashing Russ. Russ is a good guy, actually.
Kevin, if we could keep things directed, we're not going to cross debate, so if we could just focus on the issue, that would be great.
But I think Russ has been attacked unfairly, quite frankly, and I actually think he's a good, decent guy, and I'd like to be able to defend him from this side. The attack was made that we're making attacks. I don't think so. All I've been up here to try to do is to get people to realize you don't have to listen to me. I'll say it again. Listen to Dennis Barone. Think of what Jack Herrera would have thought. Ed Rosenthal. And quite frankly, there's one person sitting right in front of me right now that, in my opinion, is the smartest, most relevant, and the person that should be listened to in this entire debate. The person's name is Lynette Davies. So you cannot listen to me, Sean, a veteran, very eloquent veteran, Dave Hodges, probably the most respected person, in my opinion, in the industry, or you can listen to Lynette. Go to Lynette. Ask her. She's not going to lie to you. Ask Lynette. She'll tell you the truth.
Okay, I'm a dad That's where the responsibility lies, is to the person watching that child. Educate them, keep them away from something that may hurt them. Now, I'm aware of the LD50 for cannabis, and it's impossible to reach that, so you're not going to die. But the soccer moms are concerned about kids getting a hold of this. Oh, they're going to call poison control and get an ambulance. Well, shit. We used to walk out of the room and go, you know what? O'Shaughnessy used to give kids with seizures 150 years ago a ton of marijuana tincture. Didn't bother them a bit. They go right back and suckle and we're just fine. So that's not a concern for those of us in the industry. But what I think people are not grasping is that for 30 plus years, people in this industry have been trying on their own to get an initiative passed, to get something through this building up here that's helpful for medical marijuana patients or for marijuana users in general, and they've fallen flat on their face unless someone walks in with 7 figures to write checks to go gather signatures. And when George Soros did this in '96, he was everybody's hero. Now he's everybody's goat, okay? Richard Lee did this with Prop 19. Now, you know, he's out there twisting in the wind. I was present when one of the members of our panel was at a conference where George Zimmer said, I'm back in '64 and not MCLR, and there was an obvious letdown. Well, we're not going to get the money we need to go get this funded. Whether we like it or not, the people inside this movement haven't been able to get enough political power to blow their nose in 30 years, okay? So to say that we're just going to move forward and do all this stuff, I hear that, but what's the evidence that you've actually been able to do it? Now, people are writing checks, and I tell you, I don't trust the people with all this money, honestly. I'm meeting with these policymakers, and they're out there saying all this stuff can make it very difficult without corporate money to come in and do this. I get it. There's protections for small people for a while. But when this is all said and done, these people on the other side over here, I hope to sit down. I can't smoke because I'm on court supervision, but I'll have a drink with them. I'm a vet. I was a corpsman. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I get it, okay? We're going to have to work together because no matter what happens in this election, whether 64 passes or not, there are slippery slopes waiting for all of us to try to protect the people in this crowd who are going to get bent over and violated without any lubrication. It's coming, folks, and we're going to have to work together when this is all done.